The moment President Ibrahim Traoré opened his heart to speak about his mother, everything changed. In this exclusive and emotionally charged exposé, we uncover the shocking truth behind the woman who shaped one of Africa's most fearless and revolutionary leaders. But this isn't a typical political profile. This is the story the cameras missed, the one the public was never meant to hear. From the dry soil of rural Burkina Faso to the global stage, Ibrahim Traoré's rise to power is already the stuff of legend. But what he finally revealed about his mother, in a voice trembling with emotion, stopped the nation in its tracks. Backhand index pointing right, who was this woman really? Backhand index pointing right, why did she keep a secret from her son for over 20 years? Backhand index pointing right, how did one conversation between them reshape Traoré's vision for the country? Magnifying glass tilted left. In this documentary-style video, we dive deep into the unspoken sacrifices, the quiet resilience, and the almost forgotten story of a mother who lived in the shadows while her son rose in the spotlight. Broken heart from surviving famine and political persecution to protecting her son from a truth that could have changed his future. This is the hidden chapter of Ibrahim Traoré's life that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about power, loyalty, and legacy. Pushpin stay till the end to witness the tearful moment President Traoré made a public vow in honor of his mother. A moment so raw and powerful, even his harshest critics were left silent. This is not just a story of a president. It's the story of a mother, a secret, and a nation that had no idea what was coming. In a black speech bubble, watch now. Share widely. The world deserves to know. He is one of Africa's youngest and most defiant leaders. A soldier, a revolutionary, a symbol of resistance in the face of foreign interference and decades of silence. But for all the headlines, all the speeches, and all the bold moves he's made, there is one story that Ibrahim Traoré never shared publicly until recently. And when he did, it left the entire nation in shock. This is not a story of war. This is not about politics or policy. This is the story of a mother, a woman hidden in the background, who carried more than just her son. She carried his future, his fears, and a truth that nearly broke him when he finally learned it. Before the presidency, before the military fatigues and the raised fists, there was only a boy and his mother. They lived quietly, modestly, in a small home built with cracked hands and quiet prayers. Life was not gentle with them. There were nights when the roof leaked, and days when the only meal was a shared bowl of porridge between them. But the boy, bright-eyed and stubborn, never felt poor. Not truly. Because his mother gave him something no poverty could take: belief. She believed in him when no one else did. She taught him discipline, pride, and silence. Not the silence of weakness, but the silence of strategy. Observe before you speak, she would say. Listen twice before you act. And he did. From a young age, Ibrahim watched. He listened. He learned. But what he didn't know was that his mother was watching, too. Watching over him with the weight of a secret she had kept for over 2 decades. She had protected him from more than hunger. When he was barely old enough to speak, she sent him away from the village after a group of armed men came asking questions. "Where is the boy? The one with his father's name?" they asked. She smiled, shook her head and said, "He died of fever last year. That lie saved his life. But it cost her something." She never spoke of his father again. She never told him why she flinched when government officials passed by. She never explained why she cried alone on certain dates each year. And he never asked. Until years later, after he had returned from his military training, after his name was already whispered in revolutionary circles, and after he began to challenge the very powers his mother had once feared, she fell gravely ill. In a sterile hospital room, surrounded by machines and murmurs, the strong woman who had never once asked for help called for her son. "Ibrahim," she said softly, "I need to tell you something before it's too late." He sat beside her, holding her frail hand, barely able to look into her eyes. She told him the truth, that his real father had been a political organizer, a man silenced by the regime when Ibrahim was still in his mother's womb. That she had gone into hiding when she learned they were coming for anyone connected to the movement. That she changed her name, that she gave her son a different surname, that every time she held him at night, she wondered if she'd be forced to give him up the next day, and finally, that she had never told him because she knew that if he had grown up with that fire, that anger, he would have died young like his father. He wept. She smiled. "Forgive me," she whispered. "I kept the truth to protect you, not to lie, but to save your life." The next day she was gone, and Ibrahim Traoré, the soldier, the president, the symbol, became once again just a son. Weeks later, at a national address, he stood before a silent crowd. No generals at his side, no papers in his hand, just a folded cloth he held to his chest, the scarf his mother used to wear. He spoke quietly. "If I have become anything at all," he said, "it is because of a woman who carried a nation's pain in silence and asked for nothing in return. Today I lead, because she once led me through the darkness. There were no cheers, only stillness and tears. Not every leader is shaped by war. Some are shaped by the quiet endurance of a mother who walks alone in the shadows, shielding her child from a world that would destroy him before he has the chance to fight back." When Ibrahim Traoré finally shared the truth about his mother, Burkina Faso didn't just listen. It wept. And in that moment, a president became human. And a forgotten woman, who never stood in front of a camera, who never sat at a table of power, became immortal. For every mother who raised a lion in silence, this story is yours too.